This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr., and no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. A lot to talk about here on this episode of the program on this Wednesday evening of March 12th. And what I want to discuss, some Niners trade rumors. I know that we're in day 3 of NFL free agency. The 49ers have made some solid moves on the peripheries of their roster, but could they make some more moves to clear some money off the cap, get out of some contracts, and continue to really remake and rebuild this roster? And we're talking about some trade buzz around some star marquee players on this Niners team. Wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk and running back Christian McCaffrey. There are multiple reports out there, and there's a lot of chatter behind the 49ers and the Cleveland Browns engaging in a blockbuster trade that would involve 49ers wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. And it's pretty crazy how the Niners' thoughts and the tune around their opinions on Aiyuk have changed in less than a calendar year. The contract negotiations last year got ugly. They dragged on for a long time. He missed all of training camp, all of the preseason. Did not miss the start of the regular season, but then at the start of the season, he was out of shape, looked slow, was not productive. There was that spat during practice of him wearing the wrong shorts, and Kyle Shanahan got after him. And then in that game against the Kansas City Chiefs, he took that hit to his knee. It was a massive blow. Multiple ligaments were torn, and he had to undergo a massive reconstruction in that knee. And so after the Niners signed him to that massive deal, $30 million per year, $120 million in total, $70 to $80 million in guaranteed money, he did not produce. He pissed a lot of people off within the Niners organization. Then he got hurt. And after the Niners paid more than $300 million to their roster in 2024, it was an awful year. They went 6-11, and now they're trying to get rid of players. They've already done a lot of that. They could try to get rid of some more. They're trying to get rid of some bulky salaries. They're taking on about $80 million in dead money, and this is a reset, and we're bordering on a rebuild. And if the 49ers are going to rebuild, could they trade an Aiyuk? Could they trade a Christian McCaffrey? The Cleveland Browns are a team that were rumored to be interested in Aiyuk last year. Aiyuk didn't want to go to Cleveland. He didn't want to go to New England, even though, according to some chatter, some reports, they offered him more money than the Niners. And San Francisco really messed up these contract negotiations. They didn't learn from the Deebo Samuel situation in hindsight. And with Aiyuk, they let it go on and on and on. And they didn't pay him early. If they paid him early, they could have gotten him on that deal of about $25 million per year. Wouldn't have been bad. But then they had to pay him $30. And on a run-heavy team with a player like Aiyuk, who was coming off an all-pro season, is a clean route runner, is a 3-level wideout, is a very dangerous weapon, they overpaid him, even if he was coming off that all-pro season. And because they waited, they grossly overpaid for a player who is never going to have 100 catches, is never going to have 90-plus catches. And that's an issue with how this Niners team is built, what Kyle Shanahan likes to do with a run-heavy offense. And even though we had that great relationship with Brock Purdy, the Niners have now released Kyle Juszczyk. They signed tight end Luke Farrell, which signals to me they're going to run a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight end packages. They're going to try to run it a lot. Hopefully they can bulk up and rebuild that offensive line. And it just doesn't make sense to pay Aiyuk that much money when they're not going to throw it to him all that much. And so I wanted the Niners to re-sign Aiyuk, but if they signed him early, I was all for it, $25 million. You start to get into that $30 million per year range. That's what DK Metcalf is making. Justin Jefferson is making a little bit more. Brandon Aiyuk simply is not that player. And so now the Niners could be looking to trade him to eat that dead money, like they're eating all this dead money, 80 plus million as of this recording. And could they trade Aiyuk away for a player like Greg Newsome, a cornerback? They need a corner. They have Diamador Lenore, Renardo Green as bona fide starters. Outside of that, they are bereft of starters and talent at that cornerback spot. And so some reports coming out of Cleveland that the Browns could be interested if they draft the quarterback at number 2. They need wide receiver talent, and they could go the risky route of trading for a player who, if he gets healthy and he gets targeted a lot with what the Browns want to do, and they draft the quarterback on that rookie deal, they find a way to get rid of that Deshaun Watson contract. A trade for Aiyuk could make sense for a team like Cleveland, on top of the Patriots being interested in Aiyuk, which we've talked about here before, because same thing. They have Drake May, rookie contract. They need a wide receiver. And maybe the Niners eat some of that salary. The Browns or Patriots eat the rest, and they can make a move happen. But an Aiyuk trade, I asked John Lynch directly at the NFL Combine. He did not shoot it down. And I think that's really notable. And I think the Niners' actions have spoken loudly about what their plan is. They've said, we need to get younger. Check so far in free agency. We want to shed salary. Major check so far in free agency. And when I asked him about Aiyuk, he did not say, we're not trading Brandon Aiyuk. That's pretty telling. Now, this one is a little bit crazier, but it does make sense. Could the Niners trade Christian McCaffrey? Christian McCaffrey is an older running back who the Niners signed to that contract extension through 2027 last year. They should not have done that. I would have guaranteed the money on the rest of his deal. But to give an extension to an injury-prone running back coming off a season in which the Niners ran him into the ground and he wasn't healthy in the Super Bowl at 28 years old, it didn't make a lot of sense. But if the Niners are going to rebuild, does it make sense to have McCaffrey on the team? It doesn't. And so Ryan Clark of ESPN said this today. I would absolutely trade Christian McCaffrey, and I would try to get as much as I could for him. When you look at what Kyle Shanahan has been able to do, it's run the football. I know we thought last year that they missed some of the things with the versatility of Christian McCaffrey, but when you release Kyle Juszczyk, you let some of that versatility go. You let some of the things that you can do formationally go. Not quite true. Ryan Clark isn't keeping tabs on the Niners like we keep tabs on the Niners. I think Luke Farrell, one of the best blocking tight ends available, can do a lot of the same things that Kyle Juszczyk can do. Anyway, Clark continued by saying, so why not change your entire philosophy from thinking about Christian McCaffrey as this Swiss Army knife, getting pieces for him and allowing guys like Ricky Pearsall to touch the football more with running the football and doing things different on quick screens, adding other players based on the assets you could get for him, also understanding that you're looking for more available players than Christian McCaffrey was last year. And so the thought and the idea of trading Christian McCaffrey away does make some sense. Older running back, making a lot of money. If you can get value back for him, great. You placed also a second-round tender on Jordan Mason. And if another team wants to sign him, they'll give you a second-round pick and forfeit that up. I don't think that's going to happen. But the Niners place that second-round tender on him, and if Jordan Mason comes back, you're giving him $5+ million for this year. We have seen the value of running backs increase the last couple of years. And running backs do matter. The top 5 rushing offenses in the NFL made the playoffs in 2024. Christian McCaffrey trade has done wonders for the Niners. The Ravens signing Derrick Henry. Great move, especially adding him for $8 million. The Eagles trading for Saquon Barkley changed their offense. They won the Super Bowl in large part due to Saquon. And so running backs do have value still. But signing a running back to a contract extension when he has an injury history at 28, which then led to him having bilateral Achilles tendonitis, the PCL injury, it was a risk. It hasn't worked out. And if you can get off of that contract, like the Brandon Aiyuk contract, it sets you up nicely for the future. Should the Niners go full-on rebuild? What are your thoughts on this? Let me know down in the comment section here. Type Y for yes, type N for no. More to get to here on the show, but first, this Niners polo available thanks to our friends at Fanatics. Not only is it available, it's on sale. Nearly 50% off. All sizes available. Get yours today. If you're like me, you like rocking polos, this is perfect for you. It was $80, now on sale for $43. Chatsports.com/49polo. As for the Niners free agency moves, what they've done, they missed last year a quality blocking backup tight end / tight end 2. They didn't have Charlie Warner. They didn't have Ross Dwelly. And so adding Luke Farrell will give them a good blocking tight end while allowing George Kittle to run more routes and be more of a pass catcher instead of always having to use him as a blocker. And maybe that can extend his career a little bit, keep him healthy, take the dings off his body, especially if the Niners sign him to a contract extension. And so with the Niners signing Luke Farrell to a 3-year, $20+ million deal, $11 million guaranteed, that is their thinking here. And for Ian Rappaport to say it was a huge addition, I disagree, but it's an important addition given what Kyle Shanahan likes to do. At running back, with the injuries around Christian McCaffrey and Isaac Guerendo, running back insurance, you needed that. So the Niners have brought back Patrick Taylor. He can be RB4 and a solid special teams addition. That's what he was last year. Good on special teams. Jordan Mason, second-round tender, talked about him a little bit earlier. The Niners also signing Richie Grant, a former second-round pick at the safety spot. And Richie Grant is a player who comes to the Niners with pedigree. Drafted in the second round by Atlanta, has started a lot of games, can help on special teams, and can Robert Saleh get a player like that back on track? That's what good coaches do. Luke Gifford, he's been one of the top special teams performers in the NFL since entering the league. Undrafted free agent out of Nebraska. The Niners signed him to a 1-year deal. At the very least, you can be very fired up about what the Niners have or haven't done. They have placed value on improving special teams this offseason. Adding Brant Boyer to their coaching staff, and then adding these players who can play and contribute on special teams. Kevin Givens, backup defensive tackle, cheap, was having a good year last year. Jason Pinnock is a DB who could play corner, safety. He's registered a lot of sacks, quarterback hits, and TFLs. He's at his best when playing downhill, and I think that Robert Saleh can make a player like that work. I like his positional versatility. I like how he's around the ball. He's lengthy, long, athletic, springy, and if you use him correctly around the line of scrimmage downhill, I think that he can be an impact depth piece. Demarcus Robinson, 500+ yards receiving last year, 7 touchdowns, 16 yards per catch, good red zone threat, deep threat. Every year he's been in the NFL, he's made it to the playoffs. Chiefs, Ravens, Rams. 2 years, $9.5, $6 million guaranteed. It's a good value play right there. And then Trey Brown, cornerback, former 5th-round pick by Seattle out of Oklahoma. He said last year he was hurt a lot. His best football is still to come. Again, you're hoping that Robert Saleh can put these players in a position to find success. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. This is the 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. Thanks for supporting the show. And we're going to continue to give you great coverage right here on the Niners Report.